Well, joining me now is Danielle Boxall of the Taxpayers Alliance. Danielle, that film demonstrated real poverty. That many on universal credit and or attending food banks speaks to a much bigger problem than energy prices, which we will come to in just a moment. But it just is appalling. UK 2022.
Yeah, it's really shocking. And, Theresa May mentioned a few years ago that just about managing as well. I think there's going to be a lot more people in that situation when they are really just about managing. I mean, we're seeing a tax burden that is going to be at a 73-year high going into the next election. So this is really hitting people's wallets hard. And it means that their budgets are squeezed. There's not much money for people to choose between heating and eating, as they mentioned in that film there. So, yeah, it's quite worrying, actually, that, we're living in 2022, but people are really struggling with the amount of money that they have.
Absolutely. Well, let's cut to the chase then on what I set up this conversation for and what I want to talk about. And that is precisely the cost of living and what Rishi Sunak did with taxpayers' money, as you always like to underline, and so too do I. How do you rate the package from yesterday on energy prices?
Yes, well, I think it is a bit misleading, really, because it's sort of giving with one hand and then taking away with the other. I mean, I know you mentioned this earlier, but, this sort of rebate that they've called it is actually just a loan, really. The £200 that they're giving to reduce the cost of energy bills is going to have to be paid back at some time. And it's sort of it's hedging basically on the bet that energy prices will go down in the medium term, which is quite risky, really, because going into the next election, prices might not fall and taxpayers are going to be having to pay back this loan that they've been given and also having to deal with rising energy prices at the same time. So it's quite a political, risky move for the Chancellor.
Yeah, Ofgem have warned today that they may well come back in 3 months' time rather than their normal 6 months, and are already giving out warnings that it may be that direction rather than that direction. So I hear what you say and I bank that. On national insurance as well, which I feel very strongly about. I mean, if it is necessary, it shouldn't be done now. If you want 12 billion, then borrowing was 13 billion lower in December than it needed to be. And it does cost employers. Do you begin to understand why a Tory Chancellor of the Exchequer is insisting on doing that?
Well, it's quite mad, really, isn't it? And, you meant this package that the Chancellor announced yesterday, the total figure for that is going to be about £9 billion. So he's giving out £9 billion, but then in April he wants another 12 billion, which is the cost of the national insurance increase. He's going to take that back. So why not just scrap the national insurance increase? And that would really help with the cost of living for people up and down the country. And I think that should be what the Chancellor is doing. It seems that this sort of giving with one hand, taking with the other, the only person that's really helping are the bureaucrats that are administrating all these complex changes and up and downs that we're seeing in the tax system at the moment.